Any opposed? That's carried. Okay, clarification of sewer tap fee for Mr. Joe Williams. Mr. Walton.
Yes, sir. We had, Mr. Williams, I see he's here now, he had come before us on February the 11th requesting the sewer line be ran, and, which the city did, and, he agreed to pay the $4,000 standard tap fee. And I think there was either some miscommunication or misunderstanding about
Hey,
the amount.
may I have permission to give everybody a
Mr.
copy?
Walton, Mr. Walton is what he just mentioned.
I'd like to give everyone a copy, if I may. Thank
Go
you.
ahead, Mr. Walton.
Okay, but anyway, from what I understood, Mr. Williams did come in and pay the tap fee, but he didn't pay the full $4,000, but he paid $2,000. And, it was his understanding, I think, that was all he had to pay. Was that your understanding?
Beg your pardon?
Was that your understanding, that you only had to pay $2,000 rather than $4,000?
Right here, on the very first page, number 3, it says sewer easement. A construction and maintenance easement was presented by City Attorney Daley, which was executed. Mr. Joe Williams informed the council that he was unable to tap into the sewer in front of his house. Turn to the second page. The reason I couldn't tap, there's no sewer line on my street. The minutes from February 11th meeting are incorrect. In section 3, it states that I was unable to tap into the sewer line in front of my house because of gravity fall. There is no sewer line on my street. On January 29th, I went to the county map room and found that a sewer line was on the property behind my house. I found out who owned the property. It was 3 individuals. I had to acquire an easement from them for the city to run a sewer line to my property lines. The city engineer came and flagged the easement. He did not cite it correctly. He measured out clean to 6 foot deep, and it is only 3 foot deep. Therefore, the city workers tapped on manhole at 6 foot deep. I caught the mistake about halfway up the line. That error cost the city workers more time and labor to do the job. B&B Plumbing put my line in March 21st and connected to the city sewage lines. We had to call them back because our house was filled with sewer gas. They had to install an inline sewer gas valve to keep the sewer gas from backfeeding from the manhole. On March 23rd, we were hooked up at an additional cost to us for the valve. For 12 years, we have been assessed and taxed by the county and the city as being on the city sewer. At this meeting, the mayor asked what the cost would be put the line in. He was told approximately $2,000. Ms. Daly said, sound fair. So on March the 17th, I gave the city of Temple a check for $2,000. I got a receipt that says for sewer tap on, paid in full. Turn to the second page. That is a copy of the check, that copy of the receipt that I received. Turn to the next page, and you'll see where on my tax assessed that I've been paying tax, and I have it flagged a public sewer. And I don't have public sewer. They did not put a line up my property. And on the first night I was here, the attorney wasn't here. The second time, the attorney was unable, I think, someone had an accident in her family. So the third time I was here is when it was discussed and about my sewer been paying tax for 12 years to the city and the county when I did not have access to the city sewage. So it was discussed that I should not be penalized for me hooking up to city sewage. So when the mayor asked what it would cost to run the city sewage line to my property, he was told $2,000. And Ms. Daly said that seemed fair to her because of me having to pay tax.
But we didn't waive the tap fee. That's the same as everybody has to pay.
We didn't reduce the tap fee, and the $2,000 was the city's cost to
Run the line.
Run the line to 206 feet.
It's in
But in the
Council
minutes that
minutes.
were just read, it, you know, said that you were willing to pay the $4,000 tap fee.
That's what we said that night.
Yeah.
Well, it was said, just like I read here.
Yes,
Yes, sir, that was on the line.
yes,
Yeah,
that the mayor asked how much
And
would
the
it
mayor
cost. Because I
asked-
had asked that same question, and it was a matter of, because you had already stated that you were willing to pay the tap fee, but it was to get the line run. And so that our focus the whole time was the line, getting you the line to get your sewage there, but that you would still, it was understood that you would still do the tap fee. Because everybody has to pay a tap fee.
Get the line to my property, that should have already been there.
Right, and that's what the city paid for, but the tap fee was never waived. That's the same tap fee that everybody pays to tap onto the sewer.
But everybody hasn't paid city and county tax for a line that wasn't there. Everybody hasn't paid. I've been paying tax on a line that should have been there, that wasn't there.
I'm sorry, I was sitting there in this meeting, but the question that I have is it normal for people that are within the city limits but that do not have access to sewer to be paying a tax as if they are?
That's not a separate tax.
Then, if it's separated out here, so what are you saying, are there
That,
other?
they're just donating that the city has public sewer available. It's not that they're taxed for sewer. They're not.
So if this, is there a section, is there a section within the city that is within the city limits that does not have access to sewer? Because my particular part of the neighborhood was annexed into the city because sewer access was brought down to those houses. So is it common if you live within the city limits that you have access to sewage? Would that be part of your incorporation into the city limits? I know we have some citizens like myself that are county water, but we are city sewer. But do we have residents that are simply city that just have no access?
Yes.
I don't know.
If you live within a certain distance from the line, then you have a choice of tapping or paying the fee.
So do you pay the city's water or are you on county water?
That's right. You should have a right to tap, but it was not there for me to tap.
It would have been if you'd asked the line.
And-
That's why they took the line.
See, we added the line
You
part,
added-
making it possible for you to tap on.
That's right.
So the tap fee, see,
Okay.
the tap fee was never mentioned.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
To begin with, it was looked at and no one knew that I didn't have sewage in front of my house. Okay, when they checked it, they checked Double E Road and Matthew Lane, which that's where it should have came from. The Matthew Lane and Double E Road is 5 foot deep. it should have been 18 foot deep. If it had been 18 foot deep, they would have brought sewer lines in front of my house. Okay, they didn't do it, they didn't install it right. And I don't,
But that
And-
still
and-
doesn't waive the tap fee, does it? I mean,
the second.
where did you get that we were waiving the tap fee? That's what I was wondering. Because that was never in any of these.
Because I've been paying tax for 12 years, for the right to use
Right.
the sewage that wasn't there.
Right, but you got them when you wanted it, you
All right,
got it,
when
right?
when I came up to, talk about this, no one knew how I was gonna get sewage. I was told that. We don't know how we gonna get sewage to you. Because Double E Road and Matthew Lane, we would have to work that, no telling how many miles of Double E Road to get sewage to you. And we don't know how to get sewage to you. So I went to Carrollton, to the maps, city maps, and found out that there was a sewage line in the woods behind my house. No one tried to find out how to get sewage to my house. No one. I'm the one that found out. All right, once I found out, I said, now I've got to find out who owns the property where I can come through the woods. So I found out there were 3 people. So I had to go to each person and get it approved. And I brought it up here, signed. That wasn't good enough. I wanted the 3 people to come up here and sign it and get it notarized.
Well, actually, if I might, the first time you did it, it was done to you, and since the city was gonna do the work, the easement had to be done to them. So it was just that you got it to you to start with, rather than the city.
So is my clarification then, and I'm sorry that I wasn't here, but I guess my clarification would be, were you under the understanding when you came to the council that it would be up to you to get the line to your house and pay the fee, or did the county say this, the city said this will charge you to bring the line
Well,
to you?
They didn't charge you. The city paid for that, we paid for taxes.
So we only had 2,000 for a technical number, say the 2,000 was to make bring the
No,
line?
no, he's saying that.
What it is the city
At no charge.
He-
No charge.
At no charge.
tap fee is $4,000.
All he has to pay is
but if I hadn't found a way to get the sewage to my property, who would have got out and found it for me? Who? Who would have? It would have been Joe. We can get sewage to your house.
You brought it,
And the only reason I wanted to hook up to the city sewer in September, the 5th, I had a heart attack. I had a perfectly good septic tank and septic lines. Okay? They put stents, 2 of them. The valve in the back of my heart wasn't repaired. The doctor said it was too dangerous. So I got to thinking about it. Do I want to possibly drop dead and leave my wife on a septic tank? Septic tank is 12, septic tank and field lines is 12 years old. And usually, lines are good 12 to 15 to 20 years. So, boy howdy, if I had died and she had gone through what I'm going through, that's the reason that I'm doing all this, is because I'm afraid that something might happen to me. And when I came up and Mr. Mayor asked how much it would cost, and he was told $2,000. And Ms. Daly,
That's to run the line, the
Run the
206
line.
feet.
that's
There was
right.
never asked to waive the tap fee.
The mayor
Ms.
just,
Daly
that's his
said
tap fee.
that
He
sounds
pays
fair to
$10,000
her.
for his tap fee.
I'm not asking, I've never asked for anything free in my life. I just want it right.
I guess the only confusion I would have would be, this is my confusion.
I just want it right.
Yes, ma'am.
The confusion I have is that if the city was gonna do it for free, why would we say 2,000 sounds right if it wasn't gonna be
That
a
was,
cost? That's why I'm
that was,
confused.
that was not what, that's not what it was.
Okay, so that's where I'm confused.
Sewer tap is
They were
$4,000.
Okay.
And we asked, Tommy, how much did he estimate the cost to get it from, that sewer line up to Mr. Williams'
Right.
property? And
Right.
he estimated $2,000, so that's where the 2,000 is.
Because we needed to know how much it was going to cost the
That
city
was
to do,
just for the city's information.
to get that line running. It had nothing to do with what, with the tap fee.
The sewer tap.
Ms. Daly,
That's right.
did you not?
Yeah, they were
Say-
talking about the 206 feet
All right.
around the line. There was never any discussion.
And-
My recollection is that you indicated to them you knew the tap fee was $4,000. And you didn't have a problem with
But
tap fee, but you knew.
Before
the
you
line.
had all these papers in front of you, I got the papers right there that you had in front of you, and about
There was never any discussion about the tap fee.
about the sewer line
Mhm.
assuming in front of my house. That wasn't. And then after we found out that it wasn't there, I'm not gonna keep repeating this.
Okay? Do I hear a motion on what we need to do on this?
Mayor,
Sir.
I need to ask Ms. Daly. We take care of it, we make a motion to waive the tap fee.
No, or to reduce the tap fee to 2,000.
Or to reduce
If
the
they
tap
reduce
fee
it
to
to
2,000. If the council rejects that, then the 2,000 has to be paid.
Well, he's paid two.
He's already paid for it.
That's
If he
a-
set this up,
That would be set up.
So to get it off the table, we take a motion and we vote, and that vote is defeated, it's gone. $2,000 has to be paid. Okay.
He's paid two.
Pay two.
He's already paid two. We've paid two, and he thought that 2,000 was his tap fee. The tap fee's $4,000. So the question is whether we're going to vote to reduce the tap fee from $4,000 to $2,000.
Here's the question.
Is the question. In essence, what we'd be doing is lowering the tap fee if everybody comes in. Because everybody that comes in taps on has to pay $4,000.
Everybody else can get taken.
Yeah, we'd have to do, we're in essence, would be lowering the tap fee to $2,000. I'll make the motion just so we get it dealt with on the council.
We're looking for a motion, sir.
I'm making a motion to reduce the tap fee to $2,000. We'll just vote and see how the council feels about it.
I hear a second, Mr. Freckles,
I'll second it because I want discussion.
okay, got a second now, discussion.
I want to make sure I understand this. You said reduce it to what he's already paid?
Yes.
Or what
If you vote yes, if you vote no, it stays at 4,000. That's simple.
Okay, any more discussion, ma'am?
My question would be to the city attorney. The fact that there was confusion, on March the 17th of 15, I do not believe you had.
He started what day?
This was before we had, there was, I guess the correct way to put this is there could have been some confusion with staff. And obviously, there was some confusion with staff, and what concerns me would be the receipt that he has and the wording on the receipt that he has. So legally, Ms. Daly, what would the council do regarding this?
Well, that is not the Pat thing. I don't know how it was done. I know that Pat called me and said, hey, we've got, I think it was after he'd already been in here, and I said, that was not what happened at the council meeting. And, so, Pat, was it Carter that was supposed to call him?
Yeah.
what happened was he came in and I said, you're ready to pay your $4,000 tap fee, and then he showed me an article